Welcome back to today's edition of The Agenda with me, Yvonne Ridley, and studio guests Mumtaz Rathore, Muzammil Ayub Thakari and Victoria Schofield. As we went into the break, I asked who said resolution of the dispute over Kashmir would help deny extremists in the region one of their main calls to arms and allow Pakistani authorities to focus more effectively on tackling the threat on their western borders. The answer is David Miliband, former Foreign Secretary, who recently lost the Labour leadership to his brother Ed. Victoria, to be fair, I don't think any British Foreign Secretary in recent memory has not felt the anger of Delhi when making any reference to Kashmir. I know it's something that you do discuss in your book, Kashmir in Conflict.
Well, yes, I mean, it's sort of generally considered to be the graveyard of politicians in terms of their relationship with India. And as we remember the Queen's state visit at the anniversary, the 50-year anniversary of India and Pakistan, the then Foreign Secretary Robin Cook made a comment, and that was at the point the then Indian Prime Minister I.K. Gujral said that Britain was a third-rate power and really had no business discussing India's internal affairs. Everybody who makes a comment on Kashmir gets a bit of a drubbing from the Indian government.
But why are people so intimidated? I mean, Barack Obama was full of Kashmir during his presidential election campaign, and then 2 years ago he just dropped the K word altogether.
Yes, well, I think we gather that Richard Holbrooke only refers to it as the K word. I think it's a great shame, actually, because I would maintain, and I certainly do say this in my book, that an issue which is regarded as a nuclear flashpoint, and it's frequently mentioned as a nuclear flashpoint.
Well, we haven't come to that because
we haven't.
It's sandwiched in between two nuclear powers.
Exactly. But as important, I would say, that has really severe human rights abuses. And I take Muzammil's point. Kashmiris want to lead their lives like anybody else. Freedom of movement, freedom of speech. You've no idea how difficult it is for a Kashmiri to get a passport. They'll get a country-specific passport. I mean, you and I, as Westerners, we travel here, you travel there, you go on the Eurostar, you don't think twice about where you can travel. And this is the denial of a basic human right. But equally, the human rights atrocities, what we've seen on our screens recently, the very heavy military presence. And this is what I think is really an issue we must address, that there has to be demilitarization in Kashmir. But, when you're looking at this is what makes Kashmir an international issue, an issue of human concern if we're citizens of the world. But at the same time, you've got an Indian government which is super sensitive about any country talking about what it considers to be its internal affairs. And this is why I'm afraid we've seen, yes, a new charismatic president of the United States coming up thinking that he can say, he's going to assist with peaceful relationship between India and Pakistan, and then suddenly other issues override it. There's the economic relationship which India is developing with the United States, and we get it being shifted off the agenda, probably because his advisors are saying, it's too difficult, it's too complicated, don't go down that route.
And it's not in our interests.
Well, who are the Kashmiris that we are seeing on Press TV screens? For those, well, obviously Press TV is banned in Kashmir at the moment, but we're seeing lots of images of women, which is something that I haven't seen before. It's usually stone-throwing youths, as the Western media refer to them. So who are these Kashmiris who are going onto the front lines facing gunfire, paying the ultimate price by tackling the Indian army?
They are the common Kashmiris, anyone and everyone. Initially, I think in the late 80s, it was obviously the stereotypical young man who would go out and fight onto the streets of Kashmir. But now we're talking about children ranging from the age of 7 to the ages of elderly ladies, like 80, 90 years old. I've seen pictures and videos myself of old elderly ladies picking up stones and throwing them at the Indian armies. And obviously the Indian army show no mercy and shoot back, or they beat them senselessly. This is a form of genocide, I feel, that, between the ages of 7 and 70, that everyone is being killed without question. They have the armed forces.
Well, more than 100 have been killed so far, but genocide is a very strong word.
Well, if we look at since 1989, if we just look at 1989 till now, Amnesty International have said that on average 20 people have been killed a day. That's nearly 153,000 people have been killed in the last 20 odd years.
All Kashmiris.
All
Kashmiris,
Kashmiris.
of course.
Let us have a look at just 1947, 1948. In Jammu, in one day, 200,000 people were massacred. Is that not genocide?
Yes. Well, I would like to come into this one, as Muzambil said, that, I mean, from last 20 years, 150,000 people has been killed by the Indian security forces. And I'm really, you know, we Kashmiri, we are really disappointed by the international community that nobody has mentioned ever in the electronic media that 150,000 Kashmiris has been killed by the Indian security forces. Why? Because their economical interest, and India is a very big economical power, and they just don't want to care about Kashmiri peoples, and we are really disappointed on that one. And
how did you react when Press TV was pulled off the air? I
think from last 3 months particularly, Press TV has been doing a very excellent job, and we are really grateful to Press TV, and I hope that Press TV would carry on this a struggle which has been going on in Kashmir from last 60 years, and they will show to the public and international public, and we are really grateful to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the sad thing is we're having this discussion about Kashmir, and unfortunately people in Kashmir are not able to watch it. Were you surprised at this move on censorship, Victoria?
No,
I mean,
because it's happened before. I went to Kashmir in the wake of the attack on the Delhi Parliament, and I was there in the spring of 2002. And I left my family, as I frequently did. My children were young, but they're now grown up. But anyway, but I'd promised them on this occasion this wonderful new thing called email. I said, don't worry, I'm going to Srinagar this time, but I'll be able to be in touch with you because they've now got email in Kashmir. Well, no email, because in the wake of the Delhi Parliament, attack on the Delhi Parliament, the email had been shut down. And again, this is something that it's not going to be able to continue to happen because we are in a new electronic age. But at that stage, it was slightly fledgling. And I thought, well, you know, if ever you want to alienate people, you just treat them as always suspect, always suspicious. There's an attack on Delhi Parliament, therefore we're going to shut down the email. And I went into these booths where they'd got all these nice new computers, all spanking new, waiting, you know, to do the computers that we all, again, were beginning to take for granted, all empty. And this is a way of creating disaffection, but it's a way of control.
Well, I'm not sure if you can get the Press TV website out in Kashmir, but hopefully, if they can, they'll be able to download us. Now then, the Agenda crew went off to one of London's most famous streets to get the public's view.
I'm in central London today to talk with members of the public about Kashmir. Should it be made independent from both India and Pakistan? Would Kashmiris vote for self-determination if there was a referendum? And why has the international community done so little to help resolve the situation? Should Kashmiris be given independence from both India and Pakistan or not?
I don't believe that it should be an independent country. It should go with India.
I think that would be a good idea to resolve the long conflict between India and Pakistan.
What do you think if Kashmiris were given a referendum? Do you think they would vote for India or Pakistan or self-determination? Or?
As we see, I think if a referendum is given, I think they will go for India.
Difficult to say. I would suggest they would go for independence.
Why do you think the international community has done so little about it to help resolve the situation?
That's difficult to say. It didn't have a huge geopolitical significance for the rest of the world, I suppose, and therefore it wasn't a conflict that could potentially explode into something much bigger. It was up to now fairly contained between India and Pakistan.
It's all their facts, you know. Basically, the thing is that they have not done anything because they wanted that part to be in trouble, and that is all politics.
There has been efforts from different sides of the world, but what I can suggest here is the problem should be solved by the two sides first. The two sides should, if their intention is really to make peace and to solve the problem peacefully, they should compromise.